Every year, the IRS releases its Dirty Dozen tax scam list. And the Dirty Dozen list is a list of scams that fraudulent individuals are out there trying to get taxpayers to get involved in. I know many of you are not out there looking for these particular scams, but that's why in this video, I want to make sure that you're aware of the things that you need to avoid so you don't get caught up in one of the Dirty Dozen scams. But before we jump in, you already know what to do. I'm gonna need you to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this wealth building information. Now, let's get after it. Phishing scams. These are scams that taxpayers get caught up in because the scammers will send you an email. These emails look legit. Even I have to do a double take. They look like they're coming from IRS.gov, but typically they're coming from some other type of website. So you want to be very careful. These email scams are asking you for your personal information, your name, your social security number, and they look really legitimate. Be very careful because IRS will not email you asking for your personal information. I cannot tell you how many taxpayers call my office saying, Carla, I already got an email from the IRS saying I need to pay my taxes. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? IRS didn't send you an email saying you need to pay your taxes. So whenever you get an email asking for your personal information, do not click on it. Make sure you verify everything because IRS is typically not going to email you. Phone scams. This is a big one. This is where there are people calling you on the phone saying they're from the Internal Revenue Service. And this is another scam that people fall for all the time, where people are calling up saying, we're from the IRS and you owe us money and you need to pay right now, or you're going to go to jail, or we're going to levy your bank account, or we're going to notify your employer. And you may be saying to yourself, oh, I would never fall for that. You do. So pay attention. It happens all the time. IRS is not calling you like that to ask you to pay immediately over the telephone. And this is where I'm going to give you permission to hang up on the Internal Revenue Service. Click, don't do it. They're not going to come after you because if you give them your information, you're going to be losing your hard-earned money. And we already pay enough in income taxes, so we don't need to pay any more. Do not give people information over the phone. Identity theft. This is huge. Everybody is out there scamming. I can tell you it is unbelievable. Identity theft is a big deal, especially during tax time. So many people are out there scamming. I said to myself, if these people would go out and get a legitimate hustle or business, they would really make some money because these people are creative. They gather your information, your name, your social security number. They become you and they file tax returns on your behalf. They're able to get your refunds. They're able to get tax credits. And when you go to file your tax return, you find out that a tax return has already been filed. And how do you find out? Because your tax preparer will say to you, a tax return has already been accepted with that same name and same social security number. So let me tell you what you need to do to make sure you don't fall into an identity theft scam. Get yourself an identity PIN, an IP. An IP is just like a PIN when you're going to go use your debit card. It's unique to you and your social security number. And your PIN changes every single year. IRS will send you a new PIN. You can go to irs.gov. You can apply for an identity PIN. So when you file your tax return, your tax preparer will need to enter it in order to file your return. So you won't have to worry about these identity theft scams. Make sure you do that. Tax return preparer fraud. Yes, there's still tax preparers out there that are not legitimate people. And this is really shameful because people need help with their tax returns. But there's people out there that pose as tax preparers and they get you guys into these fraudulent schemes. They promise you you're going to get X amount of money back and they're taking a portion of that money. They are making up fraudulent tax returns. And if they're doing it for you, they're doing it for Sally and John and Monica and Derek and everybody else. And they're putting fraudulent information on returns. They're getting you back big refunds. They're taking a portion of it from themselves. But guess who's going to be in trouble when it's all said and done? You are. There's no free money. Stay away from people that promise you a big refund. I am telling you, run like the Dickens, because these are people that are typically doing things that are not so kosher. And you do not want to get caught up in a tax tangle with Internal Revenue Service because the onus is on you, the tax prepare when you sign that tax return. And good luck trying to find that tax preparer. So beware of tax preparer fraud. The fake charities. Now, this is something that makes me angry, right? The fake charities, where people legitimate trying to raise money for individuals. There's so many people out there hurting, and then you have people making up fake charities saying give to X, Y, and Z and give to this organization. And these aren't even legitimate charities. These are not charities that are recognized by Internal Revenue Service. They're not charities that are 501(c)(3)s. So make sure before you give to a charity that you go to the IRS.gov website, look the charity up to make sure it's a legitimate charity. People have businesses setting up fake charities and getting all the money from people. Can you imagine? You give 20, somebody else gives 40, and they do that to 1,000 people, 2,000 people. They are out there. So beware of the fake charities so that you do not become a person that is donating to the wrong cause. There's a lot of great causes out there. Make sure you're putting your money behind the proper causes. And this is the thing, my friends. There's so many people out there trying to scam. I want you to be aware of all the scams that are out there. You got to be aware of the phishing scams. You got to be aware of the email scams. You got to be aware of the telephone scams. You got to be aware of the fake charities. You got to be aware of the fraudulent tax preparers. You got to be aware of all of these things. And we have to keep our head on a swivel so we can keep our cash in our pocket. And when you do those things, you're going to make sure that your money is going in the right place. Just like I want all of your knowledge to come from the right place. That's why I want you to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this wealth building information. We can't afford to.